Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain how to use zone offsets and also touch on when you would use zone offsets. So in the last video, we were making edits to one of the tones that resides in zone 5 in the A07 scene. So remember, if we click on zone view, we can see that 5 and 6 in this range triggered the synth sound there. So it triggers sounds or tones that are in zone 5 and 6. And if we did any edits to the tone, so let's go to menu, for example, and we'll go to tone edit, and we'll just change the filtering just a little bit. If we make any numerical changes or values to any one of the parameters in that tone, the yellow asterisk pops up beside the name of the tone. So if you want to keep these changes to be stored and be able to go back to when you power down, you have to do a write command. So you could write this and then you could save it to the tone and you could change the destination. Now the problem is, so you could write this in place or you could write it to a new destination like a user bank. So the problem is each time that you do any filtering at all, let's say you're using this same scene, for example, over and over again, you're using it to make a remix version of a song, you're using it to play leads somewhere at a gig, and then you're using it to just come up with another patch or something like that. You may adjust the individual parameters of filtering and things like that, maybe the attack and decay of individual tones in each different use case for this scene. And so even if you saved multiple scenes, the scene is always going to be accessing this hardstyle that's saved in there unless you saved a separate version of hardstyle. You may name it hardstyle 2 and save it in user bank 2. Then you would have to have hardstyle 2 dialed into your second version of the scene. So over and over again, what you would wind up having is you would have multiple versions of tones that are saved that have just a little tweak on the filtering or something like that. So it's really hard to keep up with, and then it also doesn't make good use of memory space in the keyboard. So what the Roland Fantom O has is a way for you to adjust a little bit of tweaks to the sound that's saved with a zone in a scene rather than being saved with the tone. So to access this feature, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the menu button, and then you're going to go to zone edit rather than tone edit. And then over here on the left, you can see there's an offset tab. Now you have the ability to jump around to the different zones. Right now we're in zone 5, but you can move to 6. And remember, when we were triggering these sounds right here, it's triggering tones that are played through zone 5 and 6. So if we adjust parameters in there, we may have to do it to both of these. So let's click the menu again. Let's go back to the zone edit, and then we'll go to offset. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter down this value in the cutoff at the offset level. So it's filtered down. So let's say this is more of a pad sound now. It's not necessarily lead. This is more in the lower back area of our mix rather than being at the front or the top of the mix. Okay, so now what you would do to save this offset parameter is you would do a write command to the scene. So you could overwrite the scene or you could write it to a different location. But anyway, that's helpful for not having to save a bunch of multiple versions of the tone. And it really just kind of helps you save a lot of time as well too, because you can quickly go in there and just do some simple edits to a cutoff or resonance of an individual zone rather than having to go in and change values in a tone and then writing in that tone. So not only can you adjust cutoff and resonance, you can adjust attack and release. So this one has a fast release time. As soon as I release the trigger, it turns off, but I can increase the release time. so it has a much longer release. So there's a lot of flexibility in saving those values in with the offset rather than the individual tone.